Final segment of the show is upon us, and Tony, the much anticipated Packers Dallas Cowboys game ended in a 40-40 tie. And we, of course, were in love with hockey at a time when they did have ties. And of course, you being a soccer fan, a tie, a draw is very commonplace. But doesn't it leave a sour taste in the mouth of football fans to have a game end in a draw? I mean, there's only 17 games in a season. Let's say that a team does end up with 3 ties. What are you going to do there? I don't know if something has to be done. But, Tony, the NFL will get rid of ties before the start of next season. Straight facts, bro, relax.
I'll say, bro, relax. I mean, if it was something that happened often, sure. Is there an opportunity for a discussion to think about ways to not have it happen? Absolutely. Do I think it'll happen next year? No, I say, bro, relax. And if you want to have that discussion, what are the ideas? What are the ideas? You going to have a kickoff? Keep going.
I don't know. I mean, Neel and Matt are. Yeah, guys, you want to chime in?
See, I'm straight facts. The NFL will get rid of overtime ties and eventually because, see, here's the thing: the NFL is the only professional sports league.
By next year was the question. By next year?
By next year, yeah, they'll get rid of my next year. Here's why.
Okay. You think so? Okay.
I think so. Here's why: because the NFL is the only sport professionally, like of the core 4, that actually allows ties. The NFL, the NBA, they go into as many overtimes as they want till decide a winner. NHL, they go to overtime and then they have shootouts if things don't go, if they're still tied by the overtime period. And then same thing with baseball, they'll go into extra innings and they'll have the ghost runner in second to speed things up if things are still tied. The NFL having ties, it's deflating. Like you don't know how to feel about it. You don't know how if you could draw any positives or negatives from it. You know, and like Micah Parsons who in that Cowboys Packers game was so unsatisfied because he didn't win, but he also didn't lose. Now, in my opinion, if you want to declare a winner, you should have the 10-minute overtime period and then go into sudden death. One thing that I love is the college football overtime rule. You have as many overtimes as you want until a winner is decided. And after 2 overtimes, you go into a 2-point conversion contest until there's a winner. That's the name of the game. Just decide a winner. And I feel like ties are just not cutting the mustard. You leave discontent. You don't feel like you accomplished anything. You just feel like you're not pleased, but you're not depressed either.
Could they perhaps remove a couple of players from the field of play?
Kind of like in NHL when it's 3-on-3.
Yeah. I don't know. Could that potentially work? Open up the field a little bit, air out the ball. That might be an idea.
There's a possibility there. It's interesting to see what they can do moving forward.
Yeah. Maddie, I'm wondering what your thoughts on Daniel Jones' start to the season. I mean, he's been ripping it with the Indianapolis Colts. Who had seen this coming? A little change of scenery sometimes does athletes a world of good, and the Colts are riding this wave of Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. My goodness, I mean, it just goes it just fits very nicely. Maddie, Daniel Jones will earn as high as second place in MVP voting this season. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
Bro, relax. No hesitation. Bro, relax. Here's why. I think Daniel Jones has had an incredible start to the year, but as far as who's outperforming him, while Justin Herbert of the Chargers up until the Sunday game was doing fantastic. But they're going to give it to the big name stars unless Daniel Jones throws for 60 touchdown passes, which I can't see him doing. There's no way in hell he's going to finish that tie on the MVP list. He'll definitely be in consideration for comeback player of the year, because this guy was dead to rights for a long time up until he came to the Colts. But MVP, second place, ooh, bro, relax.
Can I jump in for a second? Just quickly.
Please.
Just, are you starting to think it's a New York thing here? Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold,
Don't mention this.
Geno Smith. Hell, even Aaron Rodgers. we'll throw in Aaron in the mix too. What's going on? Jesus Christ, Chad Pennington goes to Miami and he becomes a Pro Bowler. What the hell's going on? When quarterbacks leave New York, for some reason it becomes a good thing. Eli Manning notwithstanding.
You want to know what it is, man? It's the fact that New York provides a lot of pressure on players to perform well because of the market and because of the history of New York sports. And if you don't live up to expectations, the fans will boo you out. And then when you go somewhere else, you won't feel as obligated to feel pressured. That's exactly what's happening.
I think the Jets are just a trash organization.
Yeah,
and the Giants organization is trash. But yeah,
the Giants. Well.
Although I do want to give them some slack because their owner does have cancer, but
okay.
I think maybe Daboll's not really as good a coach as we thought he was.
Yeah, this first year he was great, and then we kind of saw the cracks.
Well, sorry, Neel, you were about to chime in.
Well, I just think when you talk about Daniel Jones, we've seen the story play out with a lot of different players. I'm not going to name them off the top of my head, but a change of situation in the NFL is the most drastic change of situation one can have in sports. If you change baseball teams, if you change basketball teams, if you change any hockey even, you're going to another team that essentially in many ways has the same components, but in the NFL, it's really like 4 or 5 or 6 different teams that all have to come together at one. The offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, the skill positions, the special teams. And if you play for a franchise as a quarterback that does not invest in your offensive line, for example, and then you go to a team that suddenly has a great offensive line history, there are teams that play a certain way. Like, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their bread and butter for many, many years has been an excellent defense, a neutral offense that won't fuck it up for the defense. And they never invest in their offensive line. Look at the Houston Texans right now. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And look at what C.J. Stroud was as a rookie, and now he's taken huge regression steps every year. And part of that is not him. Maybe some of it is. A lot of it has to do with that they don't know how to protect him. They never knew how to protect Daniel Jones that well in New York. Indiana's got a much better offensive line than whatever he has ever had in New York. And that is a huge factor when maybe are not an elite quarterback. You can't see the field the way Aaron Rodgers does or the way Patrick Mahomes does, or even Josh Allen with his mobility. And Daniel Jones has mobility too, but you're caught in situations where you're just always going to be flustered much more. You're going to take more sacks. You're going to throw more interceptions. You're not going to see your playmakers as well reading the field. And to a lot of degree, your situation is what matters and what makes the big difference between you being almost out of the league to potentially a Pro Bowler. It's that drastic. And so I think it's situation and maybe some internal development on Daniel Jones's part, sure. But he's got better skill positions around him. He's got a better offensive line, and he's got better coaching. And to a quarterback, that's going to make a huge, huge difference.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Matt Castle had a Pro Bowl year that year Tom Brady went down. And this was like
he had a Pro Bowl year with Kansas City, I think too. He might have.
He did. He was a Pro Bowl at Kansas City. He was an alternate for the Pro Bowl the year he replaced Brady.
Right, and
well, look at Alex Smith. Alex Smith is another one. He started with the 49ers, and as soon as he goes to Kansas City, he all of a sudden becomes a pretty good quarterback. And there's a lot of guys like this. Look at Brett Favre too. Brett Favre went to the Jets as well. Had a horrible stinker of a year. Immediately goes to the Vikings and turns back the clock. And now Aaron Rodgers is looking a lot better than he ever did in New York. He's looking closer to his last year in Green Bay, where he wasn't that MVP candidate, but he was a serviceable guy, and he's doing that for Pittsburgh right now. So it's all about situation in the NFL, much more than it is any other league and probably any other sport in the world.
Baker Mayfield,
great example right there. Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, you mentioned it already. Geno Smith, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah,
for sure. Finally, Neel, of course, you and I did take to the links a couple of weeks ago, had a wonderful time, and it was one heck of a Ryder Cup that took place in Maddie's neighborhood at Bethpage. Team Europe did win, and there was quite a big stir with regards to Rory McIlroy. And Neel, I don't know if you recall the instance McIlroy had a number of years ago with Patrick Reed. McIlroy jarred a long putt, and he was woofing up the fans. It was in the States, and Patrick Reed came back with to have the hole, and he was finger wagging as if he was Dikembe Mutombo. It was fantastic stuff. It seems that a lot of American fans were really giving it to McIlroy. There was a really unfortunate incident where a fan threw a beer can in the direction of McIlroy's wife. McIlroy did say F off to those American fans. And you wonder if fans are going to remember what took place at Bethpage. Neel, Rory McIlroy will be public enemy number one when the PGA season starts up again in the springtime. Straight facts, bro, relax.
Straight facts, I think, because, let me tell you, to even reach the status of public enemy number one in any sport, you have to be a great player. They're not going to give any scrub public enemy number one or public hero number one, for that matter. You got to be great. Either way, you're going to take one of those roles. Look at LeBron. He was publicly enemy number one for a lot of years in the NBA, especially when he went to Miami. You could look at other sports. I'm not sure who I would say in hockey that fit that bill, or even football, but
Connor McDavid? Or no, not Connor McDavid. Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, was he public enemy number one when he went to LA? He's too likable.
Brad Marchand, maybe.
Yeah, there's guys out there, like maybe, I don't know. But in any case, to be a public enemy number one across an entire sport, you have to be a great player, in my opinion, in most cases. And Rory is a great player, and I think that he deserves the respect of every person. And I think Americans in particular, they are going to try to get under your skin as a competitive tactic. And, I think certainly the beer can to the wife, that's going too hard. And I thought, I don't usually watch the Ryder Cup. I watch all the majors in golf, but I don't usually follow the Ryder Cup each year. And is it usually like this? Because the fans were going crazy.
It gets pretty intense.
They're all beer, like chugging beers, chugging them. It almost felt like they're tailgating instead of watching golf in like a classy fashion, like one would at the Masters. So it was. I think it's cool. Maybe golf needs a little bit of excitement, but certainly from everything I've read and seen, Rory's already public enemy number one. He doesn't need to earn that title. He's there. And I think the Ryder Cup is in Ireland in a couple of years, so we'll see how those Irish fans come around and treat some of these American players. We'll see.
It really is. It really is great theater. Please, Maddie.
Here's my question about the Rory McIlroy thing, really quick. People wanted Rory McIlroy to win the Masters a few months ago because it was the one major championship he has not won yet. And then he did, and the crowd went crazy. So I don't understand this perception of because remember, when Tiger Woods won all those championships just like that, people loved him for it. Rory McIlroy, you would think that him finally accomplishing the career Grand Slam, you'd figure that people would actually respect him. I wouldn't think he'd be public enemy number one.
I think the difference is, though, Maddie, is because McIlroy is very, very outspoken. And I think that he is fantastic for the game of golf. And also, it took him like a decade to win that Masters because he had won the previous 3 majors, and it just
Yes.
took him so long to win that final major. A lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. And McIlroy is not shy. And that was not the first time that he went at it with American fans. And I mean, personally, I think he's fantastic for
Same.
golf. And he does not have the dominance of Tiger Woods, but nobody ever will. And to have that kind of charisma, I think I don't think it was specifically for McIlroy. It was just simply this person on the other team.
It was the leader of the
Yes.
non-American, of the Europeans.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I think that's what it all was.